Good morning, everyone, and welcome back into my kitchen, Cooking with Carol Diane. I know it's been a little while. I have been down with my surgeries that I had to have two different ones, and I had a recovery period for a couple months, so I wasn't able to make videos. I'm not 100% back to normal yet, but I'm working on it. Really, I am diligently. I'm trying so hard to get my strength back, and today I'm going to do a quick little video of a little treat. And it has a story behind it. And stay tuned to the end of the video, and I'll tell you why I'm making this particular recipe. I want to thank everyone who sent me well wishes during my surgery recovery time. It was kind of long and drawn out, and I did have complications. That's why they had to go back in and put me under again. Because surgery, and you never know what's going to happen, and it's risky. It is. And there was a couple of times I thought, I don't know that I'm going to make it. I really don't. But I'm still working on it. And so I wanted to come on today and clarify that, I haven't gone away. I'm still here. And I miss all of you because you seem to miss me. And that makes me feel good. It really does. It touches my heart. So today I'm going to make a fast little recipe. And like I said at the end, stay tuned for kind of why I made this particular recipe and the story behind it. I did a lot of soul searching while I was recovering. I watched different videos and I talk about those too. Some of them were just very soothing to me. It kind of got me through. It really did. Some of them, I looked at them and I thought, why? Why did you even make that video? I wouldn't eat that on a bed. And I'm sure you've seen those videos too. Other videos are, I mean, it's all in what you like, whether it's a cooking video, whether it's an inspirational video, whether it's a gardening video. And I've watched a lot of those too. It's spring in Colorado. I have done two videos, a walk around my yard and my herb greenhouse for the year. Husband helped me with all of that, and we got that done for April to get the starter plants, going in a greenhouse. Because I use them all year long. I really do. I use my herbs for cooking, and I dry them, and so I just kind of like to show if you have a greenhouse, and mine's no big deal, but if you have a greenhouse, how to make it from winter that it looks blah and everything. Because I use kind of mine for storage. When fall is over, I take all of my yard decor, whether it's my metal chickens, whether it's a bird bath, that I don't want ruined for winter, whatever, it goes in my greenhouse because it's protected all winter long. Well, then come spring, all that has to come out. And then I began the process of getting the soil ready to plant my herbs. And it doesn't take a whole lot. It really doesn't. And we had our irrigation turned on. And so we kind of fiddled with that one afternoon. We really did get everything kind of the way we like it. And so that's done. Greenhouse is done. Yard is done for all intents and purposes. And I like to show a walk around my yard in April to show people what's come up early, whether it's daffodils, whether it's my iris that are starting. Now they're blooming. And I'll do a couple more of them. Maybe in a couple of weeks, I'll do another one to show you, look at what it did now. Look at the fruit tree now. We protected our fruit trees this last year as far as going into the last little freeze that happened. We had to protect them. And so today, like I said, I wanted to just pop on quickly and say, here I am again. I'm not 100%, but I'm here. I'm standing on two legs, and I am here to show you how to put together a very yummy recipe that I've stumbled across because I ate it one day when we were taking a drive, my husband and and I liked it so well that I thought, I'm going to go home and make one for me. It'll be special just for me. So here we go. What am I going to make? It's called a brown sugar cake, and I'm not going to make a regular cake or a bundt size cake. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in my little mini. These are just my little mini bundt pans that I have. They're just small. And I think that'll be just right for what I'm doing. So let's begin. A couple things that you will need. Get out a mixer. Somehow my baby made it back home to me. And I'm so glad that it did. I've had this mixer for, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe 30 years. It's just been a good mixer. And, but when I got it home, it was pretty dirty and pretty, looking like it'd been through the ringer. And it's like, okay, now it's time to polish you up and put you back in operation. And so that's what I'm doing today. So you will need 2 sticks of softened butter. And I use the salted butter. I really do. Very few times do I use unsalted. I like to have that salt in my recipes. So we're going to get this out and put in the mixer. There's one. That wasn't too hard, now was it? Simple little recipes. Most anyone can make. All you young people out there that think, you can't make that a brown sugar cake. What is she talking about? Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Okay, there's the butter. And along with the butter, we're going to add some shortening. Now, I just normally buy Crisco shortening. I have butter flavor and I have just the regular. But today I thought I would go ahead and just use the regular on it. And normally I measure this out in a measuring cup, a 2-cup measuring cup that I will put a cup of water in and then add the shortening. Today I'm just going to do it the way most of you would do it. I mean, I learned that from my grandmother and my mother. But I'm just going to do it the way most of you would do it, of just putting it in a measuring cup of some kind. But you do have to have a good cup. The reason why I like to use the water method is because it's, to me, more accurate. It really is. More accurate. Now, this isn't room temperature of my, it should be, it was in my cupboard, you know, it should be room temperature. Beautiful day today. It's supposed to be like 82 degrees outside today. That's going to be really nice. So get it level with your measuring cup. Okay? 2 things out of the way. Put that into your mixer. There we go. Now, in making this cake, it's kind of like making cookies, where I want to blend the butters now, the butter and the shortening, with, yes, eggs. So you're going to need, I guess I have to go in order, don't I, of my recipe. I'll back up just a little bit. And please be patient with me. I don't move as fast right now as what I used to do with my videos. It's kind of on cruise control, as I call my whole life. Well, the videos are going to be like that too for just a little while. Just kind of slow it down one little notch, and I hope you bear with me on it. Okay, so we got the shortening in. Now it calls for 2 cups of brown sugar, and they need to be packed firm. So I've got 1 cup here that I will put in, and here's the other cup. That in. Get that out of the way. Okay, then it asks for 1 cup of just regular household sugar, which I have in this cup right here. So that's a lot of sweet, isn't it? Yeah, but I think it's going to be pretty good. And then we're going to go with 5 eggs. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mix this up. And because the mixer is loud, I will stop it and mix it and then come right back on. Okay, so I've mixed that up pretty good. It wasn't as loud as I thought, so maybe I'll just go ahead and continue. So now you need 5 eggs, but you need them at room temperature. So I'm going to go ahead and crack them open in my bowl right here. 5 eggs. It's always good to kind of crack them open in a separate container so that you don't mistakenly, you know, get maybe one little tiny little eggshell that came off that egg down into the mixer bowl. You wouldn't want that. All right. There's the 5 eggs. There's our 5 eggs. Now I'm going to turn on my mixer on low. And I'm going to try to put them in one at a time. There's one. Let it mix up just a little bit. Go ahead with another. Turn it up just a hair more to the second speed. We'll be fine. Go 3. Go 4 and 5. He kind of snuck in there, didn't he? Yes, he did. I like to get my rubber spatula and I will go along the side of the mixer. I have another mixer with a glass bowl. Probably should have used that one today, but it's all right. I mean, I've made a lot of videos using this mixer and nobody seemed to complain, so it was okay. It's okay. Do that just a little bit more. I want to get those eggs in that brown sugar and regular sugar. Okay, now it calls for 1 cup of evaporated milk, and I always use the Carnation evaporated milk. Get that open. When I had this cake the other day, and I'll explain it a little later in the video, it was so good. I just had to come home and make it. There's my 1 cup in my little small vintage measuring cup that I got at that one store that I showed you, that I can read the measurements. I really can. 1 cup of that. Then we're going to go with 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I will be using my Madagascar. I like the flavor of it. You can use whatever vanilla you have in your cupboard. There's 1 and a half. There we go. That'll give it a nice flavor, won't it? Set that aside for a minute. And then we need, actually I need that back. Need that back at the end here. That's all I need for right now. I barely looked at this recipe. I really did. Just mix that up a little bit. It went from a soft cookie dough texture to more of a liquid like a cake mix would. Okay, now we're going to do the dry ingredients, and you will need 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, which I have right here. And to the all-purpose flour, I'm going to add 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. Need that salt to give it flavor. 1/2 teaspoon of that, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And in my jar. There we go. It's always good to put it in with your dry ingredients and mix it up. It just does better. So I'm just going to kind of mix that up in there a little bit. Get it all incorporated. Turn my mixer back on. Now I'm going to add this slowly in here, a little bit at a time, of the flour into the cake mixture. Mixing really nice. Smells good. When I had this cake, well, I'll tell you later, but when I had it, it's very similar to a pineapple upside down cake without the pineapple. It just seems to have the best flavor to it. If you don't have vanilla extract in your cover, just say for some reason you don't, and you have maple extract, bring that out. Put that in there. Getting there. Last little bit. Oh, pardon me. Had to sneeze. Gonna turn it up just a little bit more. Gonna stop it. Again, go back. Get the sides of your mixer because you want to get all that flour really incorporated in there. Okay, now comes the fun part. Like I said, if you want to put this in a regular bundt pan, you certainly could. If you want to do it in whatever kind of a cake pan, you can do that too. But I'm going to use my little mini ones. And I am going to give them a generous spray of cooking spray because you don't want them to stick. Now, this recipe that I have for this one doesn't call for using a dusting of flour. It just says to grease them. And I think what I'll go ahead and do is grab a spoon right quick. I think that'll be easier. So just a minute. You know me, forgetting everything all the time. I certainly do. It's just who I am. Really, who I am. Of forgetting things. Okay, we'll take this off of here. Yeah, it's a thick batter. Very, very thick. I'll just set you right there. Now it's looking like this, inside the bowl. And again, I think for these little guys, I will stick them in here. And if you were doing a bundt size, regular bundt size pan, then you're going to need to set your oven. You're going to preheat it and set it for 325. That's the first thing. And you're going to cook a bundt size regular pan for about an hour and 15 minutes. But because these guys are little minis, I'm going to go 30 minutes and check on them. May not even take 30 minutes. We'll see. Any recipe like this that you're doing that maybe you haven't done before, check on it, you know, because you don't want to go, oh, an hour and 15 minutes and they're all burnt, you know, when you open up the oven door. No, you don't want that. 30 minutes. I'm going to show you what I'm having with this when it gets done, that I had when I had this the other day, and why I liked it so much. And every now and then when I find something like that, a treat, and I come home and make it, it's like, oh, I want to make it almost exactly like what I had when I was out in, you know, a restaurant or wherever. And that's kind of the purpose behind this little cake today. And a lot of other conversations along the way that when we were out made my day. Okay, so there they are. I'm going to pop that now in the oven for about 30 minutes at 325 and be right back. Okay, my little cakes are out of the oven. Don't they look cute? They really are adorable. Look at these. Mine went exactly 30 minutes. I've popped the second batch in now. It's probably going to take 3 of the 4 little pans, 3 times that I baked them, at 30 minutes at 325 in my oven. And here they are. So let's put about 3 on this nice little plate. And then I will put this one on my little plate. I have some, I'll show you what I'm going to put on this here in a second. I have I have a neighbor in back of me that tore down his fence, a privacy fence, to put up a vinyl one. We have a very large property that goes at the back. And I have priced fencing, and it's terribly, terribly expensive. And so when I was talking to these young men that were tearing down his other fence, I said, "So what's he going to do with all that fencing?" "I was just going to take it to the landfill." I said, "Really? Well, can I have it if he's going to do that?" "Yeah." He says, "You can. That'd save us, a trip to the landfill, and it'll save him a fee." I was thrilled. I was really thrilled. Beautiful stained, nice privacy fence that I got free. It's all stacked up now back there. And they've just been working so hard, these young boys. And so I think I'm going to take them one of these. And I think what I'll do, mine that I'm going to have right now and taste and see if it's very close to what I had the other day when my husband and I took a road trip and we stopped someplace. And for dessert, they had this cake. Now I'm trying to duplicate it the best I can. And they put, I don't have the vanilla, the French vanilla ice cream, but I do have vanilla ice cream that I'm going to put right there on top. And then I'm going to put a little bit of whipped cream. Ah, yeah. Stick that on there. And I'm going to see how this, look at that. It just looks festive just like that. Okay. When I had my lunch, which I'll talk about my lunch because it was so good. When I had that, and then husband and I shared this, and I did just like this. We had spoons, and I went right down from the top all the way down to the cake part of it to get the bite of everything. I wanted the ice cream, I wanted the whipped cream, and I really wanted to taste that cake. So let's try it. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, my ice cream is so good this morning. I do have a sweet tooth. When I said it tastes like a pineapple upside down cake, only without the pineapple, yeah, it does. It really does. So what I'm going to take my guys back here. Very good. I'll sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar. Make it festive looking. I can't remember. I can't see them. They're too far back there. I don't know if it's 3 guys out there or 4, but I'll take enough to make sure they get them. And that'll be their little afternoon treat also. They'll like it. They'll get a big kick out of it. You could certainly, because these are the bundt pans, you could certainly fill these with all kinds of things. I mean, you could put a custard in there if you wanted to. You could put just fruit in there of having, nice strawberries or any kind of berries, because now we're spring going into summer, and you could fill these with all kinds of things. And I thought these came out wonderful. Really, this is going to be quite a little treat for me today. And so as you're staying along, and I'm clipping all this together, you'll see why I made the brown sugar cake and why I wanted to make it today and film it and show you. And I do apologize for being extra slow today. I'm pretty tired right now. I get kind of little bouts of, yeah, I got a little energy, so maybe I can do this. And then when I do, it's almost like an overload, and then I have to rest for the rest of the day. It's just what happens after surgery. It's just the energy in your body is just not there anymore. I always say, I'm not clicking on all 6 cylinders, and I'm not. The other day I came into the kitchen and my husband looked at me and he says, "Are you all right, sweetheart?" He says, "You don't look like you feel good today." And I said, "No, I don't." That was the day that I had a bad headache that lasted all day, went into a migraine. And I have days like this. I really do. I try really hard to maintain kind of a balance of, I can only go so fast now, and I can only get certain things done. And if it doesn't get done during the day, okay, it doesn't get done. There's always another day. That clock is still moving. It's still ticking and still going. I can't turn back the hands of time, and I don't want to. So I just kind of have to move forward, but at a slower pace. So I'm going to finish my little cake, and then I'll go into my conversation of how I found this brown sugar cake and why. And I'll catch you in a few. But I'm sure glad you came back to my kitchen to see me, from my kitchen to yours. Okay, I'm over here at my counter now. I've made my nice little cake, and I would like to share with you of why I made that little cake of the brown sugar cake. So, in this recovery period, time with me, husband says, "Would you like to take a little drive?" Yeah, I would. I enjoy drives. I really do. Anything to get out of the house, anything to get out of that bedroom that I've been for 2.5 months. Okay, so we take a drive down the road. About 50 minutes down the road is a little town called Hotchkiss. And a couple had advertised raspberry plants. And I needed to add some more raspberry plants to mine to make them flourish and do what I want them to do to make my jam. So I said, okay, let's do that. So we drove down there, and it was a beautiful, beautiful day. And we get out of the car, and it's out in the country, and they're a young couple. And they have started their greenhouses of growing things that they can sell, when it's time to have the harvest ready. And so they had to go dig them up. Okay. So while I'm waiting for them to dig it up and put it in a pot for me, I noticed out their front view from the gate. And the gate was kind of a ride. And why I don't think to do this, I have no idea, but I just forget because I just was enjoying the moment, I should have taken a picture of it because right on the gate was a sign, kind of no trespassing. If the gate's open, this does not mean that you can just come into the gate. Okay, that's so true. But what I'm looking at are the beautiful mountains that these people get to see. And these are high, big, high, sharp pointed mountains with the snow caps still on them because, higher elevation still has snow. And I thought, what a beautiful view that you get to see every day living here. So nice. Okay, so then we get the raspberries and we leave, and we're going down the road to the next town before we come home. And I looked at my husband and I said, "You get kind of hungry, aren't you?" And he said, "Yeah, I am." I said, "Well, let's just pick some place here and get a little bite before we go home." And we don't know the town that well of all the eating establishments where they are, but I noticed, they had an Arby's, and they had a Taco Bell, and they had, I think it was called Panda Express. And so we went, and I said, let's just drive down the main street and see what's available, which we did. And we drove down it and we came back. We found an Italian restaurant. And I said, "Oh, that kind of sounds good today. Would you like to do that?" "Yeah," he says, "we'll do that." So we went in, and it was a small little restaurant, very cozy and intimate, and looked Italian and everything. And the hostess came up to the counter, and she said, "Two for lunch?" "Yeah, just two." And as I'm looking, as she's walking away with the menus and silverware and everything, I'm looking at where she's putting us because the tables were full. And she put us on this booth, but the booths were sitting up high, almost like you had to step up on a step to get up to the booth. And I'm thinking, "Oh, I hope I can do that." At my age. Okay, so we get at the booth, and I'm very aware of people around me. I always have been. And so the people that were sitting in the booth right behind me were two ladies and a man, older than me. And because of the noise level in the restaurant, the man's voice was deeper and it carried farther. He was a little boisterous. So I was kind of noticing that as I set my purse down on the seat of the bench. Another gal comes over and gets our drink order, and I ordered a nice big tall glass of iced tea, and husband always orders water. And he's like this, glued to his cell phone. Okay, while we're waiting for lunch. And I ordered ravioli. And on the side, you could order a great big meatball, and they put the meatball right on top of the ravioli. And he ordered spaghetti and meatballs, but he ordered the sausage because he likes the sausage. But what we didn't know was this wasn't like going to Olive Garden or something and getting the same old thing. This was homemade, folks. The noodles, the pasta was homemade. I gobbled every bit of that ravioli and the meatball, and he ate all of his spaghetti. We ordered the lunch menu, the size of it, because we didn't want the dinner. And then for dessert on the menu was that brown sugar cake. And that's why I made it. Is when it came in a bowl with 2 little spoons because we were going to share. And she set it down, and it had a huge, great big dollop of vanilla ice cream on it with some whipped cream on the top. And I took the slice all the way down from the whipped cream, ice cream, and the cake to get it all, put that in my mouth. And I looked at my husband and I said, oh my gosh. I said, can you believe the taste of this? He says, pretty good, isn't it? I said, it's delicious. Okay, so we sat there and devoured every drop of that. He even wanted to know if I wanted to take one of the cakes home with me. I said, no, it's okay. We got too far to go. It's okay. So in that eating, that you're there eating your lunch and the dessert. And like I said, you can't help but overhear other people's conversations. And so the 3 people that were behind me in the booth. You know what I was hearing? I was hearing out of these people talking, and they had a variety of different conversations, but I was hearing frustration, and then I was hearing anger. There was almost a couple little areas that they did do a couple of laughs, that they were laughing about a couple of things, but not many. And it always makes me stop and think. I have an uncanny way of people my age anyway that just come up and start talking to me out of the blue. There's no filter, there's no boundaries. They just start a conversation with me. Okay, and that's fine. Why am I sitting here right now telling you all this and have these books in front of me? Well, this is the only way I can explain it today. I brought out my vintage, they're antique, vintage books. These I got many, many years ago, paid a fortune for them. I've willed them to one of my sons who likes to read. Well, I hope he still does anyway. These are different ones they are bound with leather beautifully. They have the gold, and each one of them has a beautiful colored ribbon. What is the ribbon for? It's a book marker. It's to mark the place wherever you left off in the book. And all that's great. There's different ones. There is, Moby Dick. I have 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Wuthering Heights. Oh my gosh. When Wuthering Heights movie comes out on TV, I watch it every single time. I love that movie. This one I chose today, Great Expectations. Why did I choose this title? Because I want you to look at your day today and think of it like a book. Now, a book has all kinds of chapters in it, doesn't it? Many. If you were to read my novels, they have many chapters in them, and some of them long, some of them short. Okay, you can find my books on Amazon, Crossroads or Chicken Scratches, and Chicken Scratches isn't about chickens at all. So if you look at your life like a book, so this one happened to be open with the ribbon about 3/4 of the way. They've already read, or just say you've already read this part of the book right here. It's done. It's over. You've read it. But you still have this portion of the book left. And that's your portion of life you have left. Really, it is. The last chapter of my life, now that I'm in my 60s. So when I'm listening to the people that were behind me in the booth, who were well into maybe 70, maybe close to even to 80 years old, the conversation with them of, like I said, frustration about different things. They were talking about medical appointments and how frustrating it is, because it is, how frustrating it is to go and not get the answers that you're looking for, when you go to a physician or, whatever. Anger on different things, that they're mad about something. But what I noticed here is that when I turned 60, I'm 66 now. I'm halfway through the 60s, over halfway. I'm over in my book. What was the first thing that I noticed when I turned 60 years old? My jowls. Nothing I can do about it. Got it from my mother. She had them. Her mother before her had them. I'm not going to go and get plastic surgery. The next thing that I noticed, yes, was my neck of all the lines and wrinkles, the crepiness in my arms. My hands turned old. They don't look pretty anymore. They have lines to them and aging. The skin is rougher now. Varicose veins, veins that pop up that shouldn't be there. All that. 5 years rolled by now, a little over 6 years have rolled by now in my 60s. And things have changed. The thoughts have changed. My attitude on things have changed. How do I feel about my body changing? Well, like I said, some things you can do something about with diet, exercise, and all these different things that people promote and do. But truly, I've earned every wrinkle, every line. I've earned it. The saying that I use, been there, done it, wore the t-shirt, threw it away, to so many life lessons. And I have. I'm well seasoned. I really am. So my last chapter of my story is a journey, because everybody's story is a journey. It's your fingerprint of however you're going to do on the last part of your life. I don't think that I will live to be in my 90s. My grandmothers only lived to be early 80s, and my grandfathers lived 90 and over. I have a neighbor next door that is on June 8th, she's going to be 95 years old. Her mother lived to be 101. I don't think that's going to be for me. But in my later years of life, what will I be doing showing my fingerprint? Well, I have a lot of things that I do to keep busy. I'm not a working woman with a job every day anymore. I had my years of that, where I got up, and I was an early bird of getting up and throwing my professional clothes on and my makeup and fixing my hair within about 20 minutes, and out the door I went to be at my job where I was a boss. And I had to line out the day. I had to check my emails and make sure my staff was taken care of, and staff meetings every Monday morning. And it was hectic and stressful. And I don't want that world anymore. I really don't. I call myself kind of semi-retired, because I still do things that when you're completely retired, you're not working, making this income. So I'm semi-retired. I am a certified handwriting analysis expert, and I teach at the college. And what I teach my students is, and they love the second class because it's about signatures. Well, signatures are your personality. It's however you write them. It's who you are. It's like a fingerprint. And the last chapter of my life is my fingerprint. No two are alike. People can try to copy your signature, and that's called forgery. So how will your last chapter begin? In your 60s, 70s, whatever. So I want you to find a book in your house, a favorite book that you have. I picked these because they're my beautiful books. And I picked them for the reason of these beautiful ribbons that are in it. Pick a book in your house. Buy my book on Amazon. Put it at your table by your bedside. Put it on your coffee table. Put it anywhere in the house that you're going to see it every day. Pass by it. And you're going to see, put a ribbon in it. Put a red one in it. Put your favorite color in it. I don't care. Put the ribbon in it to mark. I'm on the last chapter of my life. Where's it going? Have you become angry or frustrated? Have you kind of mellowed out? I have. I've softened and mellowed out. Are you going to be kind of like the brown sugar cake, sweet at the end? Are you going to be bitter? I know a lot of women in their 70s and 80s, and it's really kind of sad that they, the ones that are still married, that they have become so bitter in life that maybe they're taking care of their spouse, and they don't like it. They don't like that caregiving. And I'm thinking, but they did it for you. They cared for you. They gave you they were the breadwinner. They gave you a nice income and a nice home and a life for a lot of years. And now maybe they have cancer or something and they need a little help and attention, and you're bitter about it. You don't want to do that. And being a caregiver is hard. I took care of my mother for over 3.5 years at the very end that she had bad dementia. It's a hard job. It's a thankless job. It can be frustrating, and you can go home at the end of the day and think, I can't do this anymore. I can't take their mean mouth, and I can't, my body's wore out from lifting them and doing and taking care of and all that. But really, what are you doing? What is that? It's unconditional love. And you need to find that happy medium of, will they do it for you because you've done it for them? That's not the point. The point is that you cared enough to do it for them. I have a very good friend that takes care of her uncle. I think it's twice a week that she goes clear across town and she cares for her uncle. Wow. Think about that. Away from her busy life, and she prepares taxes all day and still works and everything. It's like, but she takes time out of her day twice a week to take care of her uncle. So in saying all of this, I want you to think about not only some goodie or food that I have made, but stop and think about the things in your life at the end of your life here and what you're going to do. You don't have to have a bucket list. I never have had a bucket list. I've done a vision board twice. A couple things came true, but I never set out to do those bucket lists. And I'm not a New Year's resolution type person either. Things change. It's called life gets in the way. And oh gosh, it has with me so many times. Mostly with me with the health, really. It's just when your health kind of fails you, down you go. And I've always said I'm like the big oak tree that falls over. I don't get back up that fast. Surgery is surgery. And I don't do well with anesthesia. And then when you have complications to surgery and things aren't going well, because that's what happened with me. So being put under twice, and dang it, I got to have another one. So things just change in your life all the time. But I do want you to think about changing your later years and how you're going to approach them and what you're going to do. And is it going to be with a smile? So in my book today of where it's left off with the ribbon, so I'm going to take a little piece of paper. You can take Post-it note, whatever you got handy. And on my piece of paper, I'm going to write what gave me joy today. You know what it was? This morning when I got up, my front door, which is a big, heavy screen door. And in my front door, I put the first glass part down, so it's just a screen. And I'm standing there, and right across the driveway, my fence line, I see, and it's spring, I see a great big, and he's not little, he's big, great big robin. He's all hanging on to the fence line with his little claws. And what is he doing? Well, I had the sprinkler on, and it's just spraying everywhere. He's taking his morning bath. And he's not just taking his morning bath. You could really tell that this bird, not so little, that this bird was thoroughly enjoying his bath time. Fluffing those wings, taking his head from side to side, and his beak was going down into his chest, getting every single one of his feathers clean and manicured, in other words. And the sun was hitting him just right from the branches, so he was kind of warm, taking his cold bath, with the sprinkler. And it just lit me up. I thought, wow, there's the robin for spring. I've seen a couple of them, but this one's sure enjoying his life of taking his morning bath. So on my piece of paper, I'm going to write what gave me joy today was the robin taking a bath in my sprinkler system. And I'm going to put that now in my book where the ribbon is. I'm just going to set it in there. And that today gave me joy. What joyful thing today? What's brought you the joy in your life? Mark it down. It's important. Don't think of all the bad things. Don't think of maybe you're disappointed about something, because like I said, this is the past of what you've read. It's gone. You can't get it back. You can't turn back the clock of time, as they say. Well, you can't turn back those chapters of your life. We wish we could on a few things. Well, some people do. And in handwriting analysis, that's the backward slant, which lives in the past. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to live in the past. What is the past? Those are your memories, your keepsakes. Nobody can take that away from you. They're yours to keep forever. Where? In your mind. You're going to have those. So, got to let the dogs out because they're barking again. But I just wanted to pop on and say, take the last chapter of your life. Make it a good one. Catch you later. So I just want to say today, take that last chapter of your life and make it a good one. In my downtime, I will say that I watched a lot of videos. I really did. What did I watch? Well, it kind of cracks me up because I couldn't watch TV. The brightness of the TV screen and the motion of it going on and off of different lights and things, I couldn't tolerate on my downtime of recovery. But I could sit there or lay there in bed on my phone and watch different videos. And a couple of them that I watched, it cracked me up with the names. Whatever their name was, Homestead. Okay. Back east, of course. Homestead. And it was a variety of different videos. It really was. I started to watch one couple. She was every bit my age. And she cooked large volume cooking and freezing different things. And she said one day she thought she was born to feed people because she loved to cook. What was her career, her job that she did for many, many years? They both, her and her husband, were truck drivers, semi-truck drivers. And I think hers was 15 years and his 19. And now they're home and she's doing all this cooking in her kitchen. And then she'll go out to her greenhouse and show me things. They have 90 chickens. I don't want 90 chickens to take care of. I thought I was going to get about 4 or 6 one time to have fresh eggs, until my older son told me about how expensive all that was to set up the chicken coop, the chickens, the feed every month for the chickens. It's like, nah, I'll go right down the road with a sign that says fresh eggs, $4 a dozen. That's what I'll do. There's a man in New York. I started watching him. Oh, why? Because he's so soothing to listen to. He talks so calm and nice, and he'll take you on little road trips, and I like that too. I just forget to do it. I really do. But when you're laying in bed recovering from surgery, it's kind of nice to just sit back, and he's driving the car, going down the road, and maybe he has to go to the market, or he's picked up fresh flowers for the day to take home, which I used to do. I need to get back to doing that. You don't need a significant other to buy you flowers. Go buy them for yourself and put them in a beautiful vase and enjoy them every day. So he does all of that. So I watched that. Another one was recently I've watched this gal that is close to my age, and she's quite striking. She really is a beautiful woman. And she likes to do the same things that I like to do of going to thrift stores. I know that if I lived in the same town with her, we'd become best friends because we would go thrifting, and it probably would just be a hoot. It really would. I enjoy watching her videos. And yes, she talks about living the life of in your 60s, 60s or 70s, what's going on with different people. If you want to leave a comment with me today, please do. Tell me what it's like at your age after 60 and over, what you're experiencing. If you just want to say that you're really angry about something, that's going on in your life that you can't understand why at your age this is going on, let's talk about it. I'm all for that. um like I said, I have an uncanny way of people just like to open up and tell me things. And I think that's pretty special. I don't want to leave this earth being a bitter old woman. I want to leave this earth with people that say she was the nicest lady you'd ever want to meet. And I hope I can continue to do that. I don't know that I will grow old gracefully. I don't know on that, but I would like to go and leave my mark of saying, don't sweat the small stuff. Really, don't sweat it. You're going to get through it. My grandpa had a saying of the pendulum always sways the other way eventually, and it does. So go get your book, mark it with a ribbon, put in your joyful thing that happened today, and I'll catch you next time on Cooking with Carol Diane. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, because I'm going to. I got to get ready. I got to go out to lunch with my ladies.